My name is Bryan Brisson. I'm your host today. You can find me at Twitter at FVCKGoodell. This is the Hot Stove, a baseball video we're starting to do weekly. I'm just going to be covering different topics I think need to be covered that happened in the past week in the major leagues. I write for the Typical Sports Fan. You can find them at Twitter at TSF96. We have daily tweets going out just talking about sports for you, the fan. My first topic today is Trevor Bauer and his accusing the Astros of cheating and proposing a major league rule change. Allegedly he did it, but I have to say allegedly because he did not say you cheated. Basically, the Astros have seemed to be able to rejuvenate these older pitchers' careers by, it seems, improving spin rate. How do you improve spin rate? Sometimes you add a foreign substance to the ball. Trevor Bauer's rule change is that, maybe the majors should let them do that, and I can't help but agree with him. I love seeing a good filthy slider, a good curveball. I love those swing and misses, but I also love the home runs that we have seen a bunch of in the past 2 years. So I see where the pushback is coming from. You make an accusation like this against one of the best teams in baseball, you are going to get pushback. But he does seem to have a point. You see pitchers like Justin Verlander, Charlie Morton, guys who seem to be over the hump at their last destination, come to Houston and just dominate. Maybe it's just a change of scenery thing. Sometimes that's all these players need is a little change of scenery to improve their game. I tend to agree with Mr. Bauer that maybe the majors should change the rule, allow these foreign substances, because you can't prove or disprove it, but it does help the game because you see these nasty pitches all over SportsCenter, all over ESPN and the other sports outlets that you see a nasty slider. Scott Van Pelt on ESPN Midnights shows has a segment called Filth just for the nastiest pitches of baseball that day, and it's just great television. I love watching nasty pitches. Not as much as home runs, because home runs are electrifying, but those pitchers need more love, in all honesty. They need a lot more love because they are some of the biggest reasons teams have success or failure. You see a lot of teams struggle more so because of pitching than because of offense. Offense is sexy, pitching is not. You get those two together, you get teams who can do both. The Astros, the Cubs, the Diamondbacks this year, the Brewers this year, the Red Sox. You get those teams, they dominate the league. But, it's up to the majors. It's up to the CBA to change. It's up to the rules committees. It's up to all these things. And I'm looking forward to, hopefully, we get some changes to improve the game of baseball. I'm not against change. I'm more for it because sometimes progression is better than just letting the sport die out the way it is. All right, we're going to move on to our next topic. The National League West right now is pretty much on its head. The Dodgers are in fourth place. Everybody expected them to run away with the division. They're currently sitting at, I believe, a 50% chance of making the postseason, which everybody thought the NL was basically set. The Nationals, Cubs, and Dodgers would win the divisions, and only one of those teams is actually leading their division currently. Right now, the Dodgers are just atrocious. They're 12-16. They have a 4.03 ERA. They're allowing over 4 runs a game. That's not good. Clayton Kershaw, maybe his next stop's Houston. He could rejuvenate his career through substances being put on the baseball, as Trevor Bauer would have put it. They one stat that I saw that was shocking was they do have a +9 run differential, but they're in fourth place. You don't see that too often from a team as young and as talented as the Dodgers are. With Cody Bellinger, he's struggling. Corey Seager just went down. You have so much talent there, but they just can't put it together. So it seems maybe it'll turn around. Last year around this time, they were looking bad. About halfway through the season, Cody Bellinger gets called up, and they took off. I don't know. I don't believe they have another Cody Bellinger in the wings. But I heard Dallas Braden talk about on Dialed In with DB today on Sirius XM. Maybe they could go out and get Manny Machado. You never know. Just wait and see. But then you talk about who do they have that could give up? Well, you got some young pitchers in Walker Buehler. They do not want to give up Bellinger or Seager. I don't think the Orioles would love one of those two, but they won't get them. Maybe they get the rental like Machado and then try to pay him in the offseason to stay. Machado's going to hit the market. He's going to make $200 million easily. We'll see where it goes because Manny Machado, great player. The Dodgers in the dumps. Maybe they can turn it around with an acquisition like Machado. Only time will tell. But let's talk about the Diamondbacks, who are shocking National League Baseball. 3 of their players have an OPS over 900. AJ Pollock, David Peralta, and Paul Goldschmidt are all having phenomenal years through 20-plus games. And Jake Lamb hasn't even played that much yet. And he's one of their best players. They have a great pitching staff. Their ERA is below 3 as a team. They right now look like they have what it takes to sustain a run through the NL West and dominate the majors, maybe even make the World Series. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, I would laugh in your face. There's no way the Diamondbacks were going to be leading the NL West through 27, 28 games. No way the Dodgers are going to be in fourth place. I would laugh at you. And it's happening. And they seem to have a formula for success. They have very good starters in Taijuan Walker, Zach Greinke, Zach Godley, Robbie Ray. There's one more I'm forgetting. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But they have a great starting rotation and a good bullpen, as the numbers show. This team has what it takes to make their run through the NL West if they can stay healthy. And once they get Jake Lamb back, that's just another piece to their puzzle. And I don't know. Watch out for the D-backs for the rest of the year. They're going to be dangerous, and we're probably going to be talking a lot about them on this show. My next topic is Ronald Acuna Jr. and the Braves. This team is not as shocking as the Diamondbacks, I guess. Well, they're also not leading their division. They're currently, I believe, half a game behind the Mets, which the Mets had an extremely hot start. But we're here to talk about the Braves. They also they have 4 players who have an OPS over 900. The D-backs had 3. These guys have 4. And 3 of them are under the age of 25. You have Juan Camargo, who has an OPS of 1.074. And for those of you who don't know, OPS is on base percentage plus slugging. This team, they're not in as good a shape as the Diamondbacks for this year because they're pitching. Right now they have an ERA of 3.64. You can't sustain success unless you can get that below 3. You just can't. I don't see them going as far as the Diamondbacks this year, but give them 2-3 years. This team is so young, so talented, they're going to be dominating. Acuna, Very small sample size. Acuna and Camargo, very small sample sizes. Ronald Acuna's only played in 5 games in the majors. Camargo 8 this year. Very small sample sizes, but they have shown they have what it takes to play at this level. Ronald Acuna was the top prospect in the minor leagues. Everybody thought, this year, opening day, he's on the roster. Nope, didn't make the cut. We're going to get to why in a few seconds. Let's talk about Ozzie Albies bat OPS .988. Off the charts. He's played all 27 games, I believe, so far, and dominating. That is a great number. Freddie Freeman, superstar Freddie Freeman. If he's anywhere but Atlanta, he has that superstar title. Atlanta, not very great baseball town, but he has an OPS of .995. This is a great defensive team, a great offensive team. Their pitching's a bit shaky from time to time, but they're young. They have what it takes to make runs to the playoffs and the World Series in the very near future. Be very, very afraid of the Atlanta Braves in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, let me explain to you why Ronald Acuna was not on the Major League roster after absolutely tearing up spring training. He was not on the Major League roster opening day for service time reasons. Basically, there is a rule, not a rule, but it's something in the CBA that basically service time, you have to play 6 years of Major League Baseball before you can hit free agency. The Atlanta Braves could not bring up Ronald Acuna until April 16th to be able to get an extra year of service time. That's not very fair to him. You look at somebody like Vlad Guerrero Jr., who is going through the same thing. He has not been called up yet, but he has shown he has what it takes to play at the Major League level. He'll get called up by the end of the year for the Blue Jays. Mike Trout, Bryce Harper went through this. It is a very team-friendly CBA when it comes to service time. 6 years is a very long time to be playing for one team, and you kind of get screwed out of money because you cannot say, well, all right, you're not paying me. Oh, at the end of the year, my contract's up. I'm going to leave. No, that's not how it works because you still have to wait 6 years into your Major League service time before you can actually make a move like that and have any real leverage in where you play baseball. I think they need to change that rule as well. I think 6 years is way too long. I think follow what the NBA has at 4, which is the NBA is not the same as the major leagues. I understand that completely, but you have a 4-year contract for a first-round pick. Football, same thing. These stars, 4 years. I think majors, you have a lot more players coming up, getting sent down. 4 years in the majors is when you can hit free agency. That's what I think it should be, because that's how it is in most sports. But we're going to move on to our next and our next topic and our final true topic of the day. The Cubs have not pulled away in the NL Central, and that's just shocking to some people. Granted, they did have a lot of games they did not play early in the year due to snow, weather, can't play in it. The majors, they're going to go back. The MLB is going to go back to starting the year later. This is the earliest they've ever started the season, and you saw it affect how many games were played early on. I believe there were 10 weather-related cancellations or postponements within the first week and a half. That's too many. Honestly, I think baseball needs to cut down to 152 games. Take 10 days off at the beginning, 10 days off at the end. Well, yeah, at just about 150, 242, somewhere around those numbers, because you can't cancel games. And when it starts to get colder in the postseason, snow gets on the ground. You can't play in snow. So you can't postpone a World Series game. You can't postpone an ALCS, NLCS game because that really does not look good for your sport. I digress on that topic. Let's get back to the NL Central and the Cubs. The Cubs have not pulled away. I expected them to. I expected them to probably have about 20 wins right now, maybe 9 or 10 losses. They're currently sitting at 16-10, right about where I expected them for losses, but the wins just aren't there yet. You can attribute that to multiple snow games, but they have dominated one of the hottest teams in baseball. They have played the Brewers 8 times. The starters have a .9 ERA against the Brew Crew, who are one of the hottest teams in baseball, who are in their division. This is a matchup that is must-see television if you're a baseball fan. You get good pitching. You get offense from both sides when you can put contact on the ball. When Eric Thames comes back, the Brewers are going to just keep chugging right along with Braun, Yelich, Thames. They have a great relief pitcher over in Milwaukee, Josh Hader. He's something else. He's got heat, 98, 99 miles an hour consistently. The Cubs, they're going to pull away eventually. I truly, sincerely believe that. The Pirates have slowed down. I was about to say Blue Jays. The Cardinals, they're doing pretty damn well too, and they're being extremely under the radar about it. There are 4 teams within 1.5 games of first place in this division. 4 teams, 1.5 games. 1 or 2 slip-ups by any of these teams, they could be out of it when it comes to August, September, October. When it comes to playoff time, 1 or 2 slip-ups, this division could just blow completely up. The Cubs might slip up some more and just completely fall off the face of the earth. You never know. You sit there and you just think, why are the Cubs struggling? Why do they not seem to have what they have? They have been struggling, but also, as I said, weather permitting, they have 4 or 5 more games already this year. The NL Central is going to be the race to watch for me. You got the Red Sox and the Yankees in the AL East. Those are the 2 teams to beat in that division. The Rays aren't going to do much. You got the fucking Blue Jays. I can't curse. The Blue Jays can't do much. They're going to call up their best player. The Orioles, they're in the dumps. So in the AL East, you got the Red Sox and the Yankees. I think the Red Sox are the best team in baseball. Yes, they got no hit by Sean Manaea and the Oakland A's, but in my opinion, best team in baseball. AL Central, Cleveland Indians. That's who's taking that division, plain and simple. No contest. The Oakland A's are looking good out west. I don't think they're going to do enough to make the playoffs, but the Astros, one of the better teams in baseball. They'll run away with it. The NL is just in shambles, it seems. And that's why most of today was talked about the NL. They're just nobody saw this coming from any division. Like I said, you would have told me the Diamondbacks leading the West 2 months ago, I'm going to laugh in your face. Probably call you stupid. I probably would have got a lot worse than that because couldn't see it coming. Kershaw might be over the hump. He might be on his way out in LA. Never know. Out east, the Mets leading that division. That's kind of shocking. The Nationals are never the best starting team. But the Braves, the Phillies, when the Braves and the Phillies are between the Mets and the Nationals, nothing seems to be right. You just don't know. And then, as I said, 4 teams, 1.5 games in the Central. Shocking. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, and I'll see you next week This has been Bryan Brisson, Hot Stove, Typical Sports Fan. You can find me on Twitter at FVCKGoodell. You can find Typical Sports Fan at TSF96.